Hey, welcome to the Christian Media Marketing Show. My name is John. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This is part two of a series. It's going to be a three-part series on the idea of risk associated to things that could bring harm, but also to opportunities. Many times, opportunities themselves come with risk. And I want to look at this idea of risk from the perspective of Christian missions, of the work that we are doing. And this is a part of the services that we at Kavanaugh Media are providing when it comes to this area of governance, of risk management, and just compliance itself. Making sure that what we do is in alignment to what God is calling us to do, is in alignment to the organizations that we serve, and to just the mission itself where we're working at, the local rules, the government rules, all of those things all play a part in the work that is being done around the world. Speaking of that, thank you for those of you who have reached out and are asking about the Discover Jesus initiative. That project, that effort that Stuart from our Kavanaugh team is doing is continuing to grow. New locations, new places, and very, very thankful for the fact that this is from the field. So we have local people, not just workers, not just missionaries and church workers, but local people doing the follow up in person. We are seeing people coming to faith, being baptized, groups being formed, churches being planted in some really hard places. So reach out if you'd like to know more about that. We believe that this is in the spirit of John 17, where you have groups and people working together. No one's the boss. It's just everybody playing their part. Stuart is helping bring this. He is fostering this partnership, but we're not in charge. We're not the ones dictating what the Lord is doing in these different places. It is truly a field-driven partnership, and I'm so very grateful for that. A few other things too before we jump into this continuing part. We have some new blog entries that other people, Amanda and Cody and people on our Kavanaugh team, are writing up. In the past, we've done a lot of SOPs, are just our standard operating procedures, but many times that doesn't tell the story as to the why behind it. And so we could just say there's a 24-hour rule. And yes, it does apply even when you're not using the API. There's documentation and reasons why we can show that. But it's more than just saying, here's a rule, for example, the 24-hour one, or the Advantage Plus, or how things are getting into learning phases, or whatever it might be. We could say, here's how we do things, or here's the best practices, or here's even what Meta's rules are. But the story as to why some of these things is part of what we're trying to do. So make sure you go to our website, KavanaughMedia.com, and you can see some of those resources there. Final one is just the weekly marketing newsletter. And we put out each week things that we see that are impacting digital engagement all around the world, especially in the area of marketing. It's a free weekly email, comes out each Friday, just like this podcast does. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can get on that. We have a monthly newsletter where we're just telling God stories, all sorts of stuff on our website, as well as a bunch of brand new ad examples. These are ads that we're running around the world. You can search by language, by topic, by what kind of media. All of that is on our ad store. Don't let the word store mess you up there. It's all free. It's all looks like a store. You go through, pick what you want, sign up, download it, and we hope that you will take it, apply it to your context. Don't just straight take what it is. Make sure it fits your culture, your context. You can change anything on it. It's just meant to be an inspiration and hopefully some idea generation for you for some of the marketing that maybe you're doing to make Jesus known and to find those seekers in your context. All right, let's jump into this second part, the second week of this idea of risk itself. When we were looking at this last week, we're looking through just the idea of really of ownership, risk tolerance, the appetite for risk. What do people have that they are willing to sacrifice? What is important to you as an individual, to your team, to your organization that you serve? So point 5 here is this week that I want to share with you. There's going to be a few points, and then next week we'll share a little bit on a broader thing of really some partnership areas with this. But point 5 is the idea of assessing and prioritizing risk. And so there is a thing called a risk register where you can look at risk, look at how likely it is, and look at the impact. Sometimes something might be a very low possibility of happening, but if it did happen, it would be a really high impact on your work. There's other things that might be a higher likelihood of happening, but the impact may not be as great. And then you can visualize this through a heat map and be able to really look down and go, okay, this is both likely and high impact. I would recommend that you concentrate once you've gone through this exercise with personnel. Your people are truly the people you serve, the locals on the ground and the workers that are there. That's so important. Data, protecting data is extremely important. And then the idea is reputation. Don't get caught up in this word, but this is the reputation, one, for the church, for Jesus, but also for the organization of what you're doing there. And so we need to protect that. What is the likelihood of something might happen that would tarnish the reputation of the church or of Jesus or of your mission org where you are at? There are many ways you can do this. You can do it on paper, spreadsheet. I did want you to know about a tool that I have created that is a Python program that you can just run right on your local computer, and it will show you what your heat map looks like. And so it's all free. It's a very simple program that I wrote. It allows you or your mission organization to input the risk variables that you see that are important to you, and then how likely do you believe that risk might happen, and what is the impact on that? When you save that, then it'll save it as a CSV file, so you can open it in a spreadsheet or whatever. Plus, it will generate your heat map for you. And so you just go through, and this is what it looks like. This is, you put in the risk, you put in the likelihood 1 to 5, the impact 1 to 5. You can add all of that in there, then generate the register and the heat map, and it will bring up the listing. So, for example, political instability, natural disasters, travel accidents, visa issues, cultural or religious hostility, cyber attacks, mental health strain, burnout, child safeguarding issues. These are a few just demo ones that I put in there, the likelihood, the impacts, and then when you hit generate heat map, then it will create one and let you see which ones are higher up there. To get to that, if you want to download that or use that, you just go to github.com/ShinobiJon. So that's ShinobiJon at, okay, so that's a ShinobiJon, and then you're going to put another /. So ShinobiJon /risk register. All one word. All right. And I'll put the link to that in the show notes so you can see that there. So it's just a tool for you to go through, assess and prioritize risk and really think through, okay, what is likely and what things would have a massive impact on us. Right. And that's going to vary depending upon where you are at. Another thing is to just think about what kind of controls and what kind of safeguards then can you do once you have your heat map and your risk register. So maybe it's digital, things like using a VPN, multi-factor authentication, data encryption. See, these are ways to mitigate the risk once you have identified them. Maybe it's physical, things like having travel protocols or emergency communication plans. It could be even spiritual things, member care, prayer coverage, burnout prevention. The key here is for you to think through, and with your team, what are risks that we see that could happen? And then what can we do to control that risk or to create some safeguards around them? This is why things like cyber insurance is so important, because now you are offsetting that risk with that insurance that you have, right? So you think about what is the risk. You think about what controls and safeguards can you create, and then you begin to monitor and you review. continuously. You need to keep on top of these things because the threat landscape is constantly changing as well. So set into your schedule, into your regular rhythm, just some regular risk reviews. And you can use indicators, you can use different thresholds where you could say, okay, if it reaches this point, then we need to do something or we would need to change something. And you can adjust then the mitigation strategies as your context is evolving. So as the risk changes, as new risks emerge, as some maybe go away, you can continually be thinking about then, okay, what do we need to change? What do we need to update? What do we need to be doing with what we're seeing in our context when it comes to risk? Remember, this is both for opportunities, seeing the church born in a place where it's not, seeing Jesus made known where he is not, involves risk, but it's an opportunity. There is a reward to that. There's a benefit to doing this. So risk is just part of life itself has risk. So we're looking for both the positives and the negatives here, and we are monitoring and we are reviewing them continuously. Final one for this week that I want to bring to your attention is just then having an incident response plan. So you prepare for crisis. What do you do if somebody gets arrested? What do you do if there is a cyber attack or if you download malware and all of your data and everything you own, your bank accounts begin to get drained? What happens if you get your visa revoked? You get expulsion from the country that you're working in. What if defamation begins to happen out there and the local paper starts printing your all's names and talking against what you're doing? What are you going to do? Thinking ahead. There's this concept in the military of forewarned is forearmed. And by that, it's when you know something is potentially there or you know in advance, you can do something about it. And so it's really important to be thinking through your communication protocols, your backup plans when it comes to data. Okay, so don't just have everything on one computer, back it up physically, back it up in an offsite location, back it up to the cloud. This is really, really important. And encrypt your backups, like make sure you protect that data. And even with reporting, making sure you're doing things, you're looking into things, and you are doing safe reporting. This is especially true when it comes to personnel and just the things that are happening out there. There are some things that don't get reported as often. There are some things that we don't share. And that's what I'm going to be talking about next week is how can we collaborate with each other to share what these risks are, maybe to share the risk, but to also learn from each other. All right. And so just a couple things this next week, I'll be talking to you about a new network that we're trying to do, a new collaborative effort, and we'll be sharing more about that with you, Lord willing, next week. I hope that this is a benefit to you, thinking through these things. Maybe even just doing tabletop exercises, getting your team together, saying, okay, if this were to happen, what would we do? What do we need to do? What do we need so that we can do this? What opportunities are there? What threats are there? All of this, what they call a SWOT analysis, all of these things are a part of understanding risk and making sure that what you do is in alignment with what God has called you to do. As always, please share this podcast with others if you think they maybe could benefit from it. Same thing with the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, all of those things. We really do appreciate it. Reach out, let us know if there are subjects or topics that you want to be hearing about, areas of training that you are needing. We would love to serve in any way that we can. Until next time, keep pressing forward, make Jesus famous, keep taking risk. It's worth it. He's worth it. And no matter what, know that we are on your side. Take care and God bless.